Are you ready? Are you set? 'Cause it's time to embrace the Nitwits!
Ain't that the truth? It's time for another rousing episode of Nerds and Nitwits. We're the Nitwits. Hello.
Oh, baby.
Now, for anybody who was paying attention last week, let's count the amount of times that camera does stuff like that and randomly lags out or disconnects.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I forgot I had the stream open on my phone. I hope you guys couldn't hear that. Anyways, I'm going to tell you right now. The Wi-Fi today has not been working in my apartment. So let's send it and see what happens.
Let's send it and see what happens. I love that.
If this just turns into Joel talking to himself, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, ideally it wouldn't.
Yeah, that'd be great. Anyways, given part of our discussion last week with the random chit chat, we decided what we were going to do was going to do the rise and fall or the ups and downs of video games. And yes, Brent, currently it's just the two of us. Michael is currently preoccupied, and Noggin stepped away a few weeks ago to take a break from it to focus on other things. So,
how hard is it to let them join?
We'd have to switch channels because I don't have the authority to add people to this one. So we'd have to join my guest one on the Chaotic Kingdom channel if he wants to join.
Hey, Brendan. For those who are listening, we're talking to chat. Do you want to join us right now?
Up to you. You can say no.
Say yes. That's what you should do.
You don't need a camera.
That's okay. You don't need a
need
camera.
A microphone.
Just join us. All right.
Okay, hold on.
We're going to figure this out.
Things are going to look wibbly wobbly. So here, look at the starting screen for a second. You should already have access to the guest channel.
I do, I think.
Okay, so I just need to...
Oh, no, do I? No, I don't.
Okay, well, let me just fix that real quick. Let's get rid of these three for a
I
moment.
just cut this out of the
yeah, this is gonna be cut for...
Yeah, or not. I don't know. Maybe it'll be entertaining. I'll listen to it later.
Add members. I thought I added you guys. Anyways.
Maybe. I don't
here,
like in the Chaotic Kingdom Discord.
Yeah, and duck. Done. That's okay. There's also ads that I forgot to turn off. There you go. You should all have access to it now. I'm gonna pop over there real quick to make sure this actually works. Goodbye. Just kidding. You guys can still hear me.
Oh.
Hello.
Okay, you should be able to join us.
He does have access to it. I need to go turn off ads real quick, so give me 1 sec. Oh crap, that's gonna throw off my cameras. Oh no! Everything has gone to crap.
Can you hear us?
I can.
Excellent!
Heck yeah.
Let me turn those off real quick.
Are you ready, Brendan, to give your opinions on why the gaming industry might be going down right now?
Yep.
Down.
Heck yeah.
Things are going to look a little bit goofy, so just bear with us for a moment.
All I ask is don't swear, because I guess my research showed that Spotify don't like that.
Oh,
so yeah, it seems like it.
I gotta fix, which is really funny, because isn't like all those people's podcasts on there?
Well, so you can, but then you have to mark it as like 18 plus, and then there's a lot less. It's just, yeah.
No,
it's better.
Anyways,
it's better to not, and then to be able to, not have all them non-viewers.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, because we have so many viewers right now, guys.
So many.
You wouldn't even believe it. Actually, you know what? Our first episode is at like 2 days after I posted it. We were at like 12 listens.
Oh,
damn.
That's pretty good.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's people that we know that have already seen the YouTube or the Twitch, or We're at 13 now.
Honestly, it's great.
In the
On
last-
Spotify?
Yeah,
Nice.
13 listens on Spotify, or 13 plays, and
Hey,
4 followers.
So,
you know,
anyways.
that's pretty good for episode 1.
For those of you listening and are wondering who that random third voice is, this is Duck, aka Brendan, aka Bren. This is Cam's sibling.
Duck,
welcome on.
why don't you tell us some things about yourself? Why don't you say what your favorite game is, what your least favorite game is, and maybe, I don't know, something random that has nothing to do with video games at all.
I'm Brendan. My favorite video game, as Cam knows for sure, Halo 3. Because it's just the one grew up playing. And it's just the best one.
Valid. It's valid.
Least favorite video game?
Taylor's here.
I don't know. I don't know if I could pick a least favorite video game. I don't know if I
like what maybe what's a game recently that came out or something where you were underwhelmed when you played it?
Let me look through my game list. Hold on.
That's fair. Yeah.
I feel like there's so many games that I play that if there's one that I don't really care about, I don't remember it.
Yeah, well, I partially asked because Joel was actually just telling me that Night Rain released and it's already got mixed reviews on Steam because there are people that are unhappy with some decisions that they made around the game.
I played the beta for that, and I actually really liked how it felt. It's definitely not Elden Ring. It's not an Elden Ring expansion or anything. It's a very different experience.
Right.
Basically just using the Elden Ring world, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
But more so just like the engine is built, the game world is ready, they know how to do stuff in it. So it felt to me more like they're just making other things while they work on bigger things because they already have all the resources to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, give people something.
Yeah.
And something fun in between the big things that they're actually doing.
Which, I mean, is kind of what they did with Sekiro, but Sekiro turned into a much bigger game than they expected, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Fair.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of a game that I've been underwhelmed by recently.
I'm trying to think though about what
okay, you know what?
Lately that I'm like, yeah, that's the same thing.
I've got a good fun fact for you to tell the listeners, Brendan.
What's that?
Do you want to inform them how many hours you have between all of the Halo games?
Oh no.
And you know what? Well, you should also
games,
do Destiny 2, actually.
Yeah, that was going to be the one. Halo games, I'm unsure because we don't have our 360. The stat for that doesn't show. But it's probably well over 5,000.
Halo 5, you're
Halo
like
5 for sure I have.
alone.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Halo 5, I have a lot. I can check right now. Hold on.
But yeah, what's your Destiny 2 numbers? Hit us up with them details.
Well, I'll say the Steam one first. On
Are
Steam,
you kidding me?
I have 356 hours.
Don't
sounds like a lot.
Just wait, Joel. Just wait
However,
till the number he tells you right now.
If I go over to my Xbox account real quick and check on my game stats,
This is
for
absolutely
a good
insane.
old Destiny 2 on Xbox, 192 days, which translates to 4,600 hours. So I'm pushing 5,000 hours in Destiny 2.
Almost. So in case you were wondering, he is a real gamer boy. So
that is
it's kind of wild.
That is over half a year straight.
I know. When Renee and my girlfriend first started dating, I had she had to beat the time that I played Destiny for. and then we
Oh my-
celebrated it.
Oh my
Nice.
word.
It was like when she was dating me for longer than I played Destiny.
Holy cheese and
Yep.
crackers, dude.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
can't
yeah.
even
I don't
fathom.
think I have quite that much playtime in all the Halo games combined, but it's probably pretty close.
Yeah, that's fair. We
Like-
played a lot of Halo when we were kids, just like
Yeah.
nonstop.
I legitimately think the most playtime I have in a single game is probably Monster Hunter World, and even that is like 200 and some hours, and that's it. Like,
I have
Well,
several
on
games
the
pushing 20 days
PS4,
played.
yeah, on the PS4, I had like a solid 300-400 hours in Fallout 4, and then on my other stuff since then, I've probably got another 200-300. But yeah, so
oh my gosh.
today we are
Dragon Ball Z.
talking video games. We're talking, the height of video games. What was the peak of video games? And we're talking about where video games are today. Because as anyone who plays video games know, there's a lot of poop coming out of the gaming industry these days. And there's a lot of studios getting shut down. Like, they release one not amazing game, and
That's it.
Microsoft just shoots them
They're
right
fried.
in the head.
Yep.
They just take them out back, and they pull out the shotgun, and they're gone.
Alternatively, they release a great game, Hi-Fi Rush, and then they still close them.
And then they still get taken out back with the shotgun.
Yeah.
I don't understand
It
that one.
does not
but
matter
it
what
happened.
you do, you are going
Yeah.
to get laid off.
Okay, then. So let's
So,
ask this question then.
Okay.
I'm gonna steal it from you. In your opinion, what is maybe not like the year, but what is like the peak of gaming for you? Where do you think that was? For either
I
of you.
think like the late 2000s. Like I think yeah, that time of like Halo 3 released a little earlier than that, but around that time. And I think gaming at that time was just it was a small enough industry that you didn't get all this like you didn't it wasn't this giant it wasn't giant corporations of thousands and thousands of employees trying to make as much money as possible. It was still small enough. It was $1 million industry. It wasn't $1 billion industry yet. And I think that just made a big difference in people were making the games because they loved doing it. And the people paying for them were at least partially paying for them because they actually cared about what it was, not just to make their money, because you weren't making billions of dollars off of it yet. So yeah, I would say around that time, like maybe up until, the Xbox One and PS4 generation. I think that was also, I would still consider that kind of maybe where it started to go down a little bit, but I'd still consider that a part of the good times.
Fair enough. Brendan.
I think that's pretty similar for me. Like nostalgia wise, 360 era with like Cam said, like Halo 3, Halo Reach coming out. That time, I mean, growing up as a kid playing video games, it just felt different. But in a sense of like games being as best as they are, honestly, like now's not a bad time. Like we
It's
just got a new
true.
Doom game. There's a brand new 3 Doom trilogy that came out in the past 10 years now. Like we got Witcher 3, we've gotten Baldur's Gate 3,
Expedition
no
33.
Titanfall 3
Yeah.
yet, but
It is true. Like the best of what we're getting now is probably still some of the best we've ever gotten from video games.
but there's also a
But
lot of garbage.
that's the thing. Like you're
Yeah.
definitely getting a lot of garbage now.
Yeah.
Joel, do you feel like it kind of a similar time range there, or?
Like, yeah, and I ask that, and I ask and I phrase it that way because even when I was a kid, growing up, when I was like kid, teenager, young adult, wherever I am now, is that every generation
Old
has
man.
said the same thing. this is the peak of gaming. But I have not heard that in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
PS1 at the time, peak of gaming, because it was the first disc. Like beside the Dreamcast, it was the first
almost arguably
disc,
the real beginning of gaming.
right? PS2 again. People said the same thing. This is the peak of gaming. It had a huge collection, had great games, just thousands of games that you can play on it. When like the GameCube came out, it was like it would flop because of the PS2, but was still a great system. The Wii was considered a peak because it was so innovative with motion controls and whatever else, and then whatever else. And so every kind of generation has had its peak of gaming, which is funny to me. And I am like kind of in the same boat, except for the fact that I didn't have a 360 or anything like that until 2013. So I was like years late. I was a year away from getting the Xbox
back and played things.
One. So for me, like my peak is the PS2 and GameCube era, because those are the games that I grew up on. The PS2, GameCube, and then like kind of the Wii side of things. I was also a Nintendo family. And it's kind of like Mr. Pundit said in our chat, is that because we were growing up or because of other things? I think there's a little bit of both, because even Brendan said, nostalgia-wise, those were the good games. And like it's true, but keeping the theme of like, yeah, we've got Witcher 3, or we've got New Doom, or we've got all these things, is that I grew up on like Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2. Great freaking games. Kingdom Hearts 3, released in the last 5 years. Not so much. And so, it's kind of funny that it's like, yeah, we had all these, what we considered peak gaming then, and then it's like, we can see it downhill. But then it's funny to me because I talked to my oldest nephew from my sister's family, and he loves his Switch. He loves playing Pokemon on his Switch. He loves like all those kind of things. And I don't think he can fathom playing anything older than like the PS4 that they had and the Switch. Also, for anybody who's paying attention, that's 1 on the Cam Frozen count.
Gosh darn it.
And so,
hoping no one noticed.
it just, the fact that he wasn't blinking was the best part.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm definitely in that same kind of generational thing, but more towards like the earlier. And I think part of that is also the fact that I am 5+ years older than you guys, and so I think there is a slight, I don't want to say generational gap. There's a slight generational gap there too.
Yeah. Like Cam and I are close enough that the games that we played growing up will be close enough. But like a 10-year gap between us, there's quite a lot of difference there.
My favorite game is Halo 3. And that was the first game I bought the Xbox 360 on my own. Even your favorite game also being Halo 3 is likely influenced by the fact that...
Oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, we sure did, folks. That's number 2!
One of the first games we ever...
Oh, no. Yeah. He's trying.
Hey.
Hello. My camera's gone out of focus again. Over here.
But yeah, it came with Motorsport. We got Halo 3. That was like the only other game we had. So there is bias in like game is what my favorite game is, and probably what our favorite generation is. Because we also play PS3 again. Play Big Brain of War. That's our fire. We watched him play a lot of games actually on the PS3.
Yeah.
Am I freezing?
You were basically the whole time. You were
that whole
cutting
thing
in
was
and out.
So stuttered. I got a good chunk of it, but not nearly enough.
I could put the pieces together.
Yeah.
I'm going this on for a moment.
For anybody who's listening to this later or on
Man.
Spotify or whatever else happens to be, we apologize for the technical inconsistencies.
I believe I can translate. I think Cam was trying to say that he bought Halo 3. That was the first game he ever got. So us having those both as our favorite game, definitely the nostalgia plays a part in it. But then we also got Forza Motorsports, and Camlet played a lot of that.
Mhm. That's fair.
Heck
Fair.
yeah.
So
Heck yeah.
and like that leads me to kind of the follow up question, because this is where I think the next generational
Yeah.
thing is going to be is uh what was the first console you played?
I feel like the first main console I played was probably a 360, but I feel like there's things before that. Like I feel like a GameCube probably, or even like a DS maybe, which is not quite the same, but
When we were kids, and I don't even know if you were born yet, or maybe you were just a baby, Brendan, but I
yeah.
distinctly remember playing the NES that Dad still has
Yeah.
with the Voltas when they were over. So I
Mm.
do remember like Super Mario 3. Like it is funny because I definitely didn't grow up in that time, but our father still had that console and still had NES, N64, SNES, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We had, and I remember playing them a bit for sure.
hmm Yeah, I definitely remember playing a lot of like Double Dash on the GameCube and stuff. So it's
Good old Double
probably
Dash.
something like that, probably like a GameCube or something like that, but
Yeah. Whereas my first console was a PlayStation 1. And so
yeah.
I think like even then, even like being 6 or 7, I don't even remember how old I was when we got the PS1, being like, this is the best thing ever. It's not gonna get any better than this. And then I played a PS2 and I went, whoa.
That,
Yep.
yeah.
And so I think
We did.
Well, and even I think that does lend a bit to the conversation here because at this point in time, our leaps, like generational leaps, used to be massive. I mean, literally, there was a generational leap in consoles
mm-hmm.
where you went from 2D graphics to 3D graphics on everything, and that was mind blowing to people. And then you went from 3D graphics where you could see the polygons to 2 generations later, 3D graphics where some games look almost photorealistic. And now we're at this point where
Eh.
games look more realistic, but sometimes they'll do it at the cost of making the game fun
Mm-hmm.
because they just it's like they do think that people only want realism in the visuals
I play video
over
games to escape
entertaining
reality.
gameplay.
He's
Do we
gone
lose
again.
him again?
Yep. And that like I think that's the other part of it too, is that like what do you mean when there's hardware jumps as well? 'Cause it's like even if you look at and now everything's gone
Oh,
wacky.
fully lost
Hello.
him.
He'll be back, don't worry. Um what was I gonna say? Well, even like the jump between the like GameCube and the Wii. It's like there wasn't necessarily a massive graphical enhancement there, but like the
hmm
technology behind it and the innovation behind it was like, oh, you're just gonna sit on your couch and play Mario Party. Nah, you're gonna stand up and move your body while you're playing Mario Party.
Yeah.
um,
I don't know if you ever had the like the Wii Fit
oh
board
yeah,
that you would stand
I
on.
have one. It's over
Yeah.
there. Uh,
Our grandparents got a Wii and we would play like Wii Sports Resort and stuff and
yeah.
yeah.
My dad used to
Well,
love. Actually, my dad had a love hate relationship because we bought the Wii Fit because mom was like, "Oh, it's an excuse to make Joel more active," uh, and then we thought it was hilarious because it was like when we first got it, I was like, according to the Wii Fit board, I was in perfect condition, and then Dad got on it, and its immediate reaction was, "Oh." And Dad was like, well, that's not very nice. But then he used to love it
Nice.
because the meditation one where you have to like try and not blow the candle out by shifting too much. He used to just sit
Yeah.
there
Mhm.
and he had like a perfect score on that. And I was like, but like how? He was like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna get slightly for all you liberals. No, I'm just kidding. He used to sit there and he used to pray, is what he used to do. So he would pray on the like while he was using the Wii Fit balance board, and he got a perfect score on it. I'm like, that's funny.
I mean, if it works.
If it works, and so there's like that's like the like those the hardware jumps and like the game jumps too, but like the hardware jumps for sure, definitely
Yeah.
were way better back then. Because even
Mhm.
like, how much time was there between like the Xbox and the 360? There was what? It was a lot. It was a decent amount of time in there.
Mm.
I mean,
like 5 years,
360
I
was
think.
like 2007.
So
I
Xbox
think
would have been.
360 was a little earlier than that. That's when Halo 3 came out, but I
Let me do some quick googling here. Original Xbox.
Yeah, but
release.
I mean, I do even think about like Wii Sports Resort, the playing game with the balloons.
yeah.
I would still have fun playing that today.
There was more. Wow.
That is a fun, entertaining game.
So the original
And that-
Xbox. Carry on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like that probably wasn't a crazy hard game for them to make. Like the basis of it is simple, but it's entertaining gameplay
Oh yeah.
and it's engaging in a weird way.
Yep.
Mhm.
So the original Xbox released in 2001, and then the 360 released in 2005. So there's a 4-year gap
Really?
between those releases. But even like the jump between the 360 or the original Xbox and the 360, like
Yeah.
there's a decent amount of graphical enhancement. There's a decent amount of like hardware and stuff as well. It's like easier connectivity for the internet, and that like part of that also has to do with like things that were changing in technology in general, because it's like the PS2, the original Xbox, yada yada yada, had to be like hardwired and whatever else. And then
hmm
when Wi-Fi got introduced, it's like, oh, the 360 now has Wi-Fi, the PS3 now has Wi-Fi, like all of
Yeah.
these different things. And so
Yeah.
I think there was a lot more. Not that there was a lot more changing, because there's definitely still a lot changing now. I think it's just gone in different directions, but it's like there's a lot more like, whoa, this is totally new, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Missed the free Wi-Fi. Yep.
so it's funny actually. A good way to show the difference between the 360 and the One graphically, not the One, the original Xbox graphically, was that the reason Halo 3 has not been remastered yet is because they,
Doesn't
like
need to be.
343 has said, that they believe that the graphics still hold up well enough to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they believe on the original Xbox, the graphics were just so much worse that
Mhm.
they felt remastering the games was worth the effort.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I
Well,
don't
100%.
disagree with that, but I still wish they would do it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I do think like I think you're right though. Like the 2000s, especially like the 2000s, early 2010s era of gaming is where it's at. 'Cause I think um there was just like I think we've talked about it before, but money was way different. The economy was way different. It was
Yeah.
more sustainable to spend more time making a game, because it's still gonna sell.
Mhm.
It was gonna sell out regardless. It's like
Oh, yeah.
but I think like the way the economy was working, it was that people could like a company could sustain itself, something like Ubisoft or Microsoft or whatever, where it's like they could uh they could release a game like Assassin's Creed 2, and it would sustain them for ages, enough to financially get
Uh-huh.
through as a company, to get through until they made like Brotherhood and then Revelations and yada yada
Mhm.
yada. And you could tell there was just a lot more. I think I don't know. Yeah, I think care. There was a lot more care put into games back then too, because they wanted it. They wanted it to be the best thing you could buy, not the next thing you could buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
I
and there
mean, I
was
still think there
like
is. What were you saying, Cam?
I was just gonna say again, a good game that really shows that off is Expedition 33.
Oh heck yeah!
Like when you've got the lead developer of it who's quoted in an interview saying, "I did this because I was bored working at Ubisoft." And then you read more, and basically the entire rest of the dev team were just junior developers, and it was their first job, basically. And they made a game that a lot of people would like to be Game of the Year.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
I literally I gave up streaming it because I was like, I need to have this game for myself now. After I had a few moments
Yeah.
ruined while I was streaming it, but definitely like interrupted while I was streaming. That's all I did today was play Expedition 33, and it was the best decision I made to stop streaming it because there were so many moments today where I was just like, I just gotta sit here and cope with this for a few moments.
Yeah, I
Fair
feel like
enough.
there's certain games that are better experienced alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a perfect example of a team of people who are passionate about making a good game, making a game, and then getting to make tons of money. Not because they were aiming to make money, but because they made something good.
Mm-hmm.
And even games like GTA 5 is financially the most successful game of all time. And there's a reason for that. You can tell when you play the game, there's so many details put into it. And even like when you just play even GTA Online, which is where a lot of the money they made has come from. And there's so many things to do. Like people still to this day love playing that like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so even things like that. Now, obviously, Rockstar does some sketchy things, but still, I think it takes people caring about the game they make to put the detail into games like that. Or Red Dead Redemption 2 is another great example.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is something to say about the amount of detail that goes into games with the crunch of making games, where it's not necessarily that the developers are wanting to do that, it's more that they're being forced to do it. Like, I'm sure they would,
It's true.
but
Mhm.
there is
Well-
also that aspect of it.
Well, it's even if you look at what happened with like Cyberpunk 2077, where CD Projekt
Mhm.
Red ran themselves absolutely ragged because people were tracking down developers and threatening their families, threatening their like houses basically by saying, "Hey, we know where you're at. This is your address. We know exactly how many kids you have, yada yada yada." And people were like threatening
Yeah.
developers, and so they
Yeah.
wanted to take their time on it, and instead they were like either forced from not necessarily the company because CD Projekt Red does great things, like forced from like the fans even to just get it done, and then we all saw how
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
happened. Now it's fantastic because they
Well-
actually took the time to fix it and spend time on
Yeah.
it. But like they were pushed so hard just to get it done that it's like,
Yeah. It's the unfortunate thing of we've seen a ton of video games in recent time where they come out in really poor condition and then the developers do clearly still care about it and then they make it great. So like No Man's Sky came out in terrible
Mm,
condition
mhm.
and now it's a lot of fun to play. Fallout 76 came out in terrible condition.
still
Even as
terrible to
someone who
play.
loves Fallout, I did not play it very much. But now it's a ton of fun. What game were we just talking about?
33
Expedition 33.
Nope.
Fallout.
Literally
Nope.
just talking about a game
Cyberpunk?
releasing. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Cyberpunk, like especially with the Phantom Liberty DLC, the game lives up way more to what they were selling it as when the
Mhm.
trailers were releasing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's these things where a lot of those were probably pushed out because investors wanted to make their money back and they didn't want to wait too long to get their money back.
Exactly.
And so it is definitely a thing of it's not always the case, but you definitely see games that get pushed out early and get really bad backlash at the beginning because they were pushed too early by the people who just want to make the money off of it, not the people actually making the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's hard because you do like an indie developers, like the developers behind Expedition 33. It's hard because you don't have near as many resources, which means people probably do work harder and have to care more to do well. And or the games just take a lot longer to release. But it's the downside. Like, can you imagine if a studio like 343 or any of the other 500,000 studios Microsoft owns had the proper support, like, or I guess the same financial support that they get, but
yeah,
what if they still got the time and they had the passion to make these games? Like, imagine if Expedition 33 had had the same resources that 343 gets to make Halo. What could they have done?
Oh, could have been so much better. Like, the game itself is still super fun. I have not encountered any, like, I have not encountered any game-breaking bugs, no glitches, nothing like that. There's, like, a few things where it's, like, I think part of it is also the fact that it was originally done in French and then translated, like, dubbed into English and stuff. So some of the mouth movements don't always line up. But it's like sometimes I was watching a character try and hold something today and be like, their hand is here and then the thing is just doing this while they're trying to hold it. And it's like shifting and moving stuff. But it's like, I don't care because it's like, it was a really good cutscene. I'm like, I don't care about that. I care about the fact that I literally spent 9 hours playing that game today, and I didn't even realize it was almost time to do this podcast until about 5 minutes beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely...
No, and that's a perfect sign of a good game.
Oh, for sure. And then it's funny because it's like, even the last couple days, we have been playing Battlefront 2, which has been out for 7 years? 2017? I don't even know. I'm not paying attention anymore.
8 years?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which, again, had a terrible launch. They kind of learned from their mistakes, tried to fix it. Still didn't do that great. But every so often now, it's like once a year, there kind of seems to be this resurgence of, this is still a fun game to play. Let's go back and play it. Is there still a lot of things wrong with it because EA and DICE have just stopped, for the most part, caring about it? Yes. Is it still fun to play? Yes. Do we get our butts kicked every single time? Yes.
It's a similar thing that's happened with Titanfall too. Is people love that game, so people keep going back to it. Like whenever there's a Steam sale, you see the population of it jump up thousands, and then people are like, "Oh, well, dang, wish there was another one."
Well, and
or
it's
just anything.
Even like a Titanfall 3 was in development. Almost everyone I know who's ever played the Titanfall 2 campaign says it's one of the best stories they've ever played in gaming. And the only issue they have with it is how short it is. But there was Titanfall 3 in development by the same people who made Titanfall 2, but that was around the time that battle royales were becoming popular and the free-to-play system with battle passes was becoming popular. And so they pivoted, made Apex Legends, canceled Titanfall 3 like 12 months into development.
Sad.
And again, the most likely reason, you make a lot more money off a battle royale than a game like Titanfall 2.
Especially a free-to-play game with cosmetics. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's super unfortunate because we could have gotten something absolutely amazing. And instead we're stuck with Apex, which was fun when it first released. But also at this point, I'm so sick of that game. And I remember talking, I think it was to you and Anthony, Joel, about what it takes to fully unlock some of the cosmetics and stuff in the game now. And it was insane. Dude, I have no idea. This
for
is
which game or which cosmetic?
For Apex Legends.
Oh yeah. Like, me and Anthony stopped playing it. I don't even remember what season we stopped playing it. It's been like years since we touched that game, and I will not go back to it because it's just
Mhm.
it's just I just can't.
Yeah, well, it's like such a clear cash grab at this point
Oh
with
yeah.
some of the things that they're pulling in the game. And I mean, that was what Battlefront 2 got in trouble for when it first released.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are still mad at 3434 with Halo Infinite. Like the amount of cosmetics that are locked behind. Well, so the Library podcast, actually, I listened to them a ton ever since we did the Halo episode and Anthony told us about it.
Of course.
And the one guy was saying that he has completed every operation, every full battle pass in all of Halo Infinite. And then he went through and he was looking at it. And despite completing all of the operations and battle passes, he has less than a quarter of all the cosmetics in the game.
Jeez.
So
Yeah.
3/4 of the cosmetics that exist in the game, you can only get by purchasing in the store. And then they just
Wild.
released recently the exchange, where you can unlock some things with Spartan points, but a lot of that still takes a long time to get. Like to save up enough Spartan points to buy some of these pieces takes
Mhm.
a huge amount of time. So even though it's less locked behind stuff now, it still is going to take so much actual gameplay for you to unlock those things.
Yeah. I do think 343 has done some good in that regard because as far as I remember, they were the first game company to make permanently unlockable battle pass sort of things with Halo the
I
Master
think
Chief
so.
Collection.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And they continued that with Halo Infinite, and most games since then have done a similar thing, I think.
Like Marvel
Yeah.
Rivals did the same thing. It's like if you buy even the basic battle pass for any of their seasons, you just have them. Like,
Yeah.
you can
Mhm.
go back to
Yeah.
them and redo them.
Uh-huh.
So then this is I don't know if it's where I'm going, but do you think that the let's use the meme. Do you think something like the horse armor was the beginning of the downfall for video games?
The Skyrim horse armor?
No, the Oblivion horse armor.
Oh, Oblivion horse armor.
Arguably, it was the first microtransaction ever in a game. Yeah, I would say yes, because clearly, to a degree, they obviously made money off of it, and once they made money off of it, that was proof that other people needed that you can put tiny things in the game and charge $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 for it, and people will
Yeah.
pay for that because it seems like such a small amount of money. But then when they pay for that every week for tiny things, $3 or $4 adds up
Real
over
fast.
52 weeks of the year.
Yep.
Or eventually you get a game like Diablo where they sell like a set of armor for like $40.
Well,
Oh yeah, Diablo's crazy.
and there's a video by Viva La Dirt League where they're poking fun of that kind of thing because they're like, oh, did you see what's like in the store this morning? They're like, yeah, 500 real life dollars for a set of armor that doesn't even do anything. It's just cosmetic. And they're like,
Yeah.
it's like,
And then he puts it on.
and then he puts it on, and it's like they're just going
Yeah.
through and being like,
Yeah.
or it's almost as bad as this $200 axe that adds a +1 to my attack, like,
And then equips it.
Yeah.
and then equips it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, I do agree. I think that probably was the start of it, but I think if Bethesda didn't do it, someone else would have done it.
oh, like it
That's
for
the
sure was
thing.
gonna happen, but like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it didn't necessarily need to happen. Is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is unfortunate. Like it's basically impossible to imagine a world where gaming didn't turn into basically based around microtransactions and battle passes.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yeah.
do still get games that aren't, but everything big now is. Like Call of Duty is so filled with battle passes,
So
and it
bad.
ruins the game.
Oh
like
yeah.
the fact
You
that
open Call of Duty for the first time, and it's like, oh, buy the battle pass. Also, here's like 8 different cosmetic stores. Like,
yeah. Well, and then the problem is the cosmetics are crazy. So like, I remember what I did play Black Ops 6 quite a bit when it came out, partially because it was on the Game Pass,
Same.
so I didn't have to buy it.
Yeah.
But I stopped playing because some of the cosmetics are like these crazy like tracers for your guns, and they're like glowing, and they have this splash, and it's like literally blinding you in the game and changing the way
Yeah.
the game plays
Yeah.
because of these cosmetics. And I
And
was like, "Okay, I'm good."
yeah, I think like battle pass and cosmetic stuff aside, there is some things that I do not mind occasionally paying a little bit extra for. The Witcher 3 DLCs, I don't mind that I paid a little bit extra for the
Yeah,
DLCs.
I mean those
Oh
are
yeah,
Some of those are like basically
insanely
full mini
good.
games. Like, and that's the thing is
Yeah,
that some
the Blood and Wine
DLC,
DLC is crazy big.
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like there's some things I don't mind, but it's like, uh, still one of my favorite jokes is like, you ever seen like the McDonald like the hamburger meme where it's like back in my day,
Oh yeah,
when you bought a game, you got a hamburger. Now it's like
yeah.
you start with like the bun and the lettuce, the patty costs extra, the cheese costs extra,
Yeah.
the condiments are
Yeah.
microtransaction cosmetics and blah 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 blah. It's like, but that was the thing is that like the PS2, GameCube, like that kind of era was like you got the full game. You got everything
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
was ever going to be included in it. Yeah, you didn't get any like future
Which
updates to it, but it's like we didn't need them either.
Yeah.
I mean, to a degree, but like Sonic 2006 was it? That game released in the same state as say No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk, but unfortunately at the time there was no fixing that.
no, no, there
You
was not.
just got a broken game that was
Yep.
going to be broken forever.
Nothing
I
like
wonder
Sonic
So,
what
is
was
I
the
mean-
human.
first game to get a patch.
I don't know. It's gonna be like a.
Who knows?
It's gonna be some like super random.
But even like I think another thing that bugs me a lot these days is the number of games that you cannot play. Wait, I'm frozen, aren't I?
No, you're
No,
fine.
gosh,
No, you're good. You're
you
good.
tricked me by standing still, Joel.
Sorry, I was googling something.
The amount of games where they don't even exist on the disc. The disc is essentially just like,
Yeah.
oh, yep, you own this game, and then everything's
was it?
downloaded to your device.
There was a game that just
Or-
came out. Honestly, it might have been Doom the Dark Ages, where
Probably.
people bought physical copies and the disc has like maybe 2 gigabytes of data and the rest is just you download
Yeah.
the internet.
Well, and that's or the other thing is, you can't play the game on without internet connection. Even like single player modes where you
Hate
can't
that.
play without
I
internet
hate
connection.
that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else is wild? So PS5, if you buy the discless one, you can buy the disc part, and you can actually add it onto the console, right?
Yeah.
You can't pair the disc drive to the console without Wi-Fi. You can't just plug it
So
in.
if you don't
You
have
have
internet
to have Wi-Fi.
That's stupid.
and you want
So
to
if
use
you live in a
disc,
cabin,
you cannot do that.
it's crazy. So it's things
Wild.
like that where, okay, 10 years from now, the PS6 or 7 is out at this point. They're not supporting PS5 anymore. Is that just it? If you buy a discless one and buy a drive, can you even connect them anymore?
I
They don't support that.
That's what's been happening with a lot of games is the companies will be like, "Okay, this didn't do well, or we're done supporting it," and
Yeah.
it's an online
Well,
only
that
game,
was what
so it
happened
just shuts
to
down
the Crew,
forever.
right?
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where-
Because Anna and
yeah,
I went to go back
it
and
was
play
a-
the Crew again because we love the story of the Crew and we love the gameplay of the Crew, and you just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They shut down the servers. They didn't put out any patch that even let you play single player or only like local co-op. It's just done. Game no longer works. You can have a disc, you can have whatever. In theory, the whole game works, but because the servers are down, they're just like, meh,
Yep.
sucks.
On a
What'd you
random
find,
note,
Joel?
and a fun fact, if you were wondering, the first ever game to get a downloadable patch post-launch was Unreal Championship on the original Xbox
Uh,
in 2001.
Huh.
I mean, that's not that
Interesting.
obscure and random.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Emma makes a great point, which kind of leads to the state of gaming today. And this is even was that yesterday morning I was talking about it. The fact that people have already received some people have received their Switch 2
Yeah.
pre-orders early. They have unboxed them, turned them on, and found out you can't frickin' use them.
Yep.
To do anything on a Switch 2, if you get it early, you need the day one patch that comes out on the 5th. So you can have your, you can get it early. You can open it up. You can turn it on, and you can do jack with it. And it literally just has to sit there. So some people got it like a week early, and now they just have to sit there and stare at it and go, well, I have a $700 paperweight.
Till the 5th.
and that's like Mr. Pundit said, and this was kind of our discussion 2 weeks ago, was Nintendo now also has the power to revoke the key, because you don't own a console, you own the license to play a console. And at any moment they can go, yoink, you don't own that anymore. Or the games. They can say, yoink.
So I can truly and honestly say I don't think I will buy a Switch 2. I'm not even the kind of person that does anything that would get my key revoked, but I just think that that's such a scummy thing for Nintendo to do.
Never.
That, like, it doesn't matter what games are on it. I don't think I'd buy one. I don't want to give them my money.
To that idea of them being able to revoke the key that just makes your console not work anymore, wild that they're doing it with the console itself, but I have heard that, like, this was a big thing with Destiny 2 when they removed a bunch of the expansions. People obviously got mad about it, and it was pointed out in the end user license agreement. It says in there, you do not own these expansions, you own
the license,
a license to play them.
Yep. And then
so
it's
you
like,
cannot sue Bungie for removing them or anything like that.
Yeah. And there was something even like,
to be fair, Disney tried to use that a while back. Not quite to the same level, but it just because someone agrees to that doesn't mean you can essentially steal from them.
Yeah.
And that was basically used against Disney. So, because you can't, like, even if people agree to that, there have been quite a few times where in courts, they recognize that those user agreements are made extremely long and hard to read so that no one reads them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually been used to win cases, even though someone technically agreed to something.
Yep.
So that's like a very gray area for that kind of thing.
Because with the Disney thing, what it was is that somebody had gotten hurt at one of their parks. It was clearly the park's fault. They wanted to sue, but because this dude had previously died. His wife died or something.
Died from an allergic reaction.
But because he had like a Disney Plus account,
because he had a Disney,
couldn't do anything about it.
Disney Plus trial. Not even that he had an account. That he had a Disney Plus trial, and he agreed to the licensing in it. Somewhere in that license agreement says you cannot sue the Disney Corporation for anything, basically.
Wild.
And so that's the funniest thing. But anyways, that's a whole other that's a whole other world right there. Because I don't even remember why Ubisoft said it a couple years ago, but they basically, I don't even remember what they were talking about when they said get used to not owning your games. And I can't remember why they said that.
I think it was generally on this whole topic. Someone asked the guy running Ubisoft about it, and he basically said, like, just get used to not owning your stuff.
Get comfortable with not owning your games, were the exact words.
Yeah. Which is wild, though, because it is the question then of, like, okay, if I don't own my games, why am I paying the same prices as the ones that I did own? Or more as the ones that I did own?
There is one thing I do like, because you mentioned CD Projekt Red earlier with Cyberpunk. One thing that they have is the good old game storefront, where you can buy games without I can't remember what it's called. But basically, you own the game no matter what happens, and they like it's a copy of the
Right.
game that even if the servers or anything shut down, you can play it forever and you own it forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and this is where, like, I do think, well, actually, yeah, in the chat, and Paige, you just said it. If all consoles are going to implement not owning games, we need Game Pass on all of them. Which is, I was literally just going to say, I think Game Pass, part of its success is that at this point, anyways, if we don't own the games, at least Game Pass is what, $25 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You get
Yeah.
access to
And that's
the
for
new
both of
Halo
them.
games that come out day one. You
Expedition
get access
33.
to
Yeah.
games like Expedition 33, Oblivion Remastered day one, the new Call of Duty's day one. You get access to a ton of old classic games. You get access to the old Mass Effect games. You get access to Minecraft for free. And for like $25 a month, like how many months do I have to pay for before it equals the games I've played? If we keep adding games, I don't think it will ever add up to the
No.
same price as if I had bought
Yeah.
all of those games.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
that's where,
pay
like,
for Game Pass anyway, just for Xbox Online.
oh yeah.
Yep.
So
Well, but you
Exactly.
can pay for Game Pass Core, which is just online.
yeah,
But you pay for Ultimate, which comes with games on your
Yeah.
PC.
I can use it
But
on
it's
my
the thing,
PC and my console.
it's $25 a month for my Xbox and my computer. There's no add-on to have it on my computer.
Yeah,
It covers
exactly.
both. And so it's in that case, sure, I'm fine if I don't own these games, and I'm essentially renting them from Microsoft because the price is absolutely worth it, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
seems like it's
I mean-
easily one of the best deals in gaming right now.
Yeah,
I just put
PlayStation.
20 hours into Doom: The Dark Ages through Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
PlayStation is close, but PlayStation is super. They're actually no, they're about the same. Honestly, I think I have like because there was something I want to play that I needed something on the classic catalog that I needed to have the whole thing, and where it was like I think for the month it was $22 to have access to all of the PlayStation Plus games, all of the PlayStation Classics collection. The only difference is that for the PS3 and some of the PS4 games is that you can't download them. You have to stream them from like, their cloud server. So it's a little janky in some ways.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wish they would change that because I'd love to just be able to download. Because like if I have them downloaded, I can play them offline because I still have the account active and everything. But it's like if like if I wanted to play Sly Cooper, for example, which is like the PS3 edition of Sly Cooper, I have to stream that. I cannot just play it. Like I have to stream it from their cloud system.
Which also then means you have to have good enough Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think it's funny. I was talking about this the other week too. There's some people I was talking to at church about the fact that everything has shifted to digital, and then so there's quite a few things that I enjoy having as a physical collection. So it's like stuff like the Lord of the Rings, the Star Wars movies, even the Marvel movies I'm working on. I enjoy having the physical copies of those movies. Can I watch them on Disney Plus or Netflix or wherever? Yes. Is it still nice to pop open a nice shiny Blu-ray disc to see the Lord of the Rings script and just go, yes, this is beautiful. Pop that into my Xbox. Away I go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's like this whole sense of like, we live in such a digital age that, for example, if I were to suddenly lose my Microsoft account, my Xbox account, well, there's like a whole bunch of Batman movies that I got on sale, or I own all of Red versus Blue on my Xbox through the Xbox store because it was super cheap when I bought it. Or I now own of like the complete Supernatural series on my Xbox. If I suddenly lose my Microsoft account, well, damn, that's gone now.
Yep.
And I don't have access to it. But it was way cheaper. Me and my friend Sarah were talking about this. It was way cheaper for me to buy the complete series of Supernatural through Xbox digitally than it is to buy it even on DVD physically. I was at Sunrise and I looked at it and it was like $300 to buy the complete series because it's 14 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's
a
like
lot of discs.
Yeah, and it's just like even some of the stuff that I have Jimmy rigged, we shall say, like my PS2. There's some games on my PS2 that I just own physically because I prefer the physical copies. Like the Kingdom Hearts games, own them physically
Mm-hmm.
because those are just like
Yeah.
that's a nostalgia thing for me. But it's like I also know I'm always going to have those as long as I have those discs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like so funny, and it's like yeah, with the key cards for the Switch 2 and all this stuff, there's so many things written into their new user agreements that say, "We don't like what you're doing. Cool, you don't have access to it anymore."
Which, yeah, it oddly, like, it's almost encroaching on people's freedom to do what they want with the stuff that they own. But then again, if
You
the
don't own it.
agreement says you don't even technically own the console,
Yeah.
but like it's such a weird. So then, in that case, if I destroy my Switch 2, am I entitled to getting a replacement from Nintendo for free? Because technically, it's theirs. So why wouldn't they just replace their own console? Like it's things like that that are like it's very one directional. They get all of the benefit of you not owning it, but you're still
Yeah.
screwed in every way as if you do own it.
Yeah.
Mr. Punch says
So
as we progress further down the technological line, we lose more of our access and freedom to do things. That's very true.
yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much. That's it. I'm getting rid of my phone.
Oh, well, okay, bye. Yeah, like it's,
Cam's going off grid.
and that's the thing is that like even in the I think in the user agreement, it even doesn't even have to say necessarily that they have to prove that you did something to the console. They can say, "Oh, we think you tampered with it," or like they have like
Yeah.
something inside that's like if you start fiddling with it, it sends out whatever. They can say, "Cool, you now have an $800 paperweight." Like that's the thing is that they
So,
can literally
Do
brick the
we?
console from anywhere.
Yeah.
my question around that too is like, okay, what if the fan fails and you're trying to replace it?
That's what I was just gonna bring up.
Then you have
Repairs.
to
Because the Switch, the original Switch, the Switch One, is actually very easy to repair. I've worked on a couple, and even the Joy Cons are easy to fix. The actual like system itself is easy to take apart, replace parts in that have failed, redo thermal paste. Like it's pretty easy to work on. Like it feels like they intentionally made it easy to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it
But if that's the
falls
case with the Switch Two, that's a problem.
well,
Yeah,
and
I was
that's
gonna
the
ask,
thing.
like, do we know if it's just digital tampering or is it physical
I
tampering
that's
too?
the
Like,
I don't know. I didn't. I read it, but it's basically just jargon that kind of makes no
yeah,
sense. But basically just
Yeah.
says if you do something to it,
they have
and
the
it's
right
kind of
to
like
turn it off whenever they want.
yeah, it's kind of like the warranty stuff on like an iPhone. If you pop open your iPhone, you technically void the warranty because you have to take it to an official
Yeah.
Apple Care place, whatever. And it's like I think,
But I mean, my iPhone still works no matter how many times I open or close it, as
yeah,
long as I
True.
don't damage something.
but
Well,
I think that's the same thing. I think it's just more intense version of that because it's like for that you're just voiding the warranty. It's like cool, okay, I can't get a free
Which
replacement
technically
now.
that doesn't actually
mhm.
void the warranty.
Yeah. Whereas like
Even if they
Nintendo's
say it does, it doesn't void the warranty.
yeah. So whereas like a company like Nintendo is saying, "Oh, it's broken. You have to send it to us. You cannot take it anywhere else." Blah 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 blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I do wonder
Yeah,
if this again, like the horse armor, if this is the start of this being a trend where every
Well,
company is gonna do a similar thing.
I mean, maybe I struggle to see Microsoft going in that direction, but I think they've got an entirely different philosophy around their consoles now with things like Game
Mhm.
Pass
Well, I'm thinking
than
not even just
Nintendo
consoles.
does.
Like you said with your iPhone, like what if Apple starts doing that with like laptops and stuff like that?
yeah.
Where
Well,
if
and what's
you
odd to me
tamper with it,
though
they can just turn it off.
is, I mean, even in like, there's a good chance that in like the European Union, there's going to be some sort of lawsuit if the Switch 2 is actually you can't be repaired because they will shut it down if you do, because Apple's already gotten in huge trouble over making phones that are hard to repair, to the point that they've been forced to make their phones easier to repair by the EU, and then at that point they made all of them easier to repair, because why would you make two separate versions? It's just going to cost you more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be surprised if Nintendo doesn't end up with a bunch of legal battles around this. Because, yeah, it's the same thing. Apple with the USB-C port, Apple with repairability. Apple's tried to move in this kind of direction with some things. And then the European Union went, no. How about you don't do that and do exactly what we say instead?
See, I think the other problem with that is their current argument is going to be, you've already agreed to it, because it's not even an agreement that is new on the Switch 2. Like, as soon as you boot up your Switch 2, you sign the user agreements. They updated their user agreements when the Switch 2 got announced. So when the launch
you've
date,
already agreed to it.
When the launch date and everything got announced for the Switch 2, so did all, like, the next day, so did all their policies. So if you open your Switch 1, you might have gotten a notification saying, hey, we updated our policies, do you want to agree? And you hit yes, you've already agreed to it, is the thing.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's attached to your Nintendo Online account, not your Switch 2. So it's like, if you own a Nintendo account, and they say, you get an email saying, hey, we've updated our policies, just make sure you check it out, and, like, make sure you agree, and blah, 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 you've already done it. Like, I've probably already done it and didn't even realize that I had done it until I read the article being like, damn.
Yeah. I agree, Mr. Pundit. I'm not going to repeat that for the recording.
It's fair. Okay, since while we're winding down our time, I think you kind of already touched on it with Brendan with that comment about iPhones and laptops and stuff, but it's like, in the case of gaming, where do you think the future is headed for gaming?
One thing I'll say, my least favorite thing that is now happening with video games is the early access 3 days for pre-ordering a game. I think the start of the Starfield. I hate that, because realistically, you're not getting the game early. They're just delaying the game by 3 days for everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I think that is where I see gaming going, is kind of that idea where they're trying to figure out where the line is for most people. What will most people still pay for, but where they make the most money? So will people pay an extra $20 to get the game 3 days earlier? People did. So, I mean, they proved it. I think with the Switch 2, Nintendo's really pushing this line of what can we actually get away with? Can we have full control over every console we make, no matter what? Like that's what they're going for. They're going to find out, not just for themselves, but for every other company on Earth, what is the line where we can actually push through what people own and do not own, and have ultimate control over their things, but we still get all the benefits. And so I think it is. I think it's going to be a weird time. And I think there's still going to be, obviously we get golden nuggets, like Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
After playing Helldivers 2 for like 5 hours, I went and bought the Super Citizen Edition because I didn't feel like that game was priced high enough.
I mean, it's like a $40 game anyway.
$45 for Helldivers 2? I was like, I will absolutely spend more money on this game. This is amazing. This is worth every single dollar. And I know like 3 or 4 people for sure that had the exact same mindset. They're like, I'm going to spend a bunch of money on this game because they didn't charge a crazy amount and then made an awesome game. So it's things like that where I think we still do get smaller companies that do really well and do care. But I think we're just going to get increasingly more and more of what we see with, Microsoft buying up every single studio on Earth. And then anytime one of them does an okay job, they shut them down.
Yeah.
So we're going to see less games overall. We're going to see less creativity. We see less innovative games. I don't know. It feels like we're hitting a point where it's really hard to get really, really good games. And there isn't this like golden age where everything is bringing something to the table. Now we are just getting games that are dog water and have no value whatsoever. Like Suicide Squad kills the Justice League or Payday 3. Like literally games where their peak on Steam is under 1,000 and they were supposed to be AAA games.
Yeah.
Concord.
Like how the heck do you manage that? That is a greater feat than making a huge successful game. Is spending the same amount of money to do that and then making a total piece of garbage. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, I do agree that I think it is just going to become more of that. But I think at a certain point, the games industry, is just kind of imploding with the amount of layoffs that's been happening in the last like 2 or 3 years, basically since COVID.
Oh yeah,
where there was so many people playing games because everyone was at home. So then they hired a bunch of new people, and then after that, now they're laying everyone off, and the whole thing is kind of just exploding.
Yeah.
So I think at a certain point, I don't know what'll happen, but the thing will have to change eventually.
Yeah, and then the thing is that I had that thought. What was it? People can't afford to play games anymore. Not even just the price of video games, but it's like the cost of living is so high that people need to be working overtime to be able to have time to enjoy things, but then they don't have the time to enjoy things. It's kind of insane. I think Emma is right in the sense that it's like, like things are going to be. I think there's still going to be a space for physical games, and I think they're just going to end up being like the collector's editions for games and whatever else. But I think it is moving towards a more digital only kind of storefront for games. And honestly, I think if we do stuff, and it's not necessarily going to help the industry as a whole, but it's like if we do focus on, and people have been trying it, like to boycott the big game studios that release the same game every single year. Call of Duty. If like, but people won't boycott it because they're like, oh, this is, or it's like there are some people that's legitimately how they make their money, is that they have to play like on stream and stuff. They have to play Call of Duty and whatever else. It was goated. It's not anymore. But it's like if we focus on the smaller games like Dave the Diver, Dredge, Balatro, Expedition 33, like all of these smaller games, they're doing fantastically well. I think like if we start to focus less on the big games, the big studios, because, and then I am part of my own problem. I am a sucker for Borderlands and Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
And like even Arkham games. They don't make the Arkham games anymore, but like I want them to. But it's like I'm a sucker for those series because I've enjoyed them. I remember playing when I got my 360 in 2013 when I was 17 and moved out and blah 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 blah. But one of the first games I picked up was Assassin's Creed, and I loved those games. Do I love them as much anymore? No. Did I still buy Assassin's Creed Shadows the day it came out? Yes. Am I part of my own problem? Absolutely. Am I still gonna buy Borderlands 4? Yes. But that was the thing. It's even like Mr. Pundit asking Mr. Dwarf there. Remember playing Borderlands 2 all the time? Garrett and I, same thing. We played Borderlands 2 so much.
I have been doing a playthrough of all the games just recently.
I noticed that.
Well, and Borderlands 2 was so much fun. And even like Borderlands 1 was good, the pre-sequel was good, Borderlands 2 was definitely the peak. And then Borderlands 3, the gameplay was awesome, the gunplay was awesome, but the story sucked.
So bad.
And I have
not great.
I haven't even finished it, actually. I never finished the story in Borderlands 3.
Neither did I.
Because I just got bored with it. And I was like,
I will say the DLCs,
I just can't.
the DLCs are fun.
They
better story in those.
I think I got as far as Maya, and I think that's as far as I got in that story. Was them
Yeah. Well, and again,
Maya.
the story
Yep.
writing wasn't creative at all, and they had some very just like cheap tricks where they were like, "Oh, you see this character that people loved from the last? Oh, she's dead."
Yeah.
So stupid.
Like
I hate that part.
it just
It
felt like it
sucks.
wasn't creative and it wasn't entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, do we think the future is bright or not? Maybe. Hopefully. I think
Maybe.
it's going to be the same way it's been for the next little while. I think it's going to be the same way it's been for the last 5 years, where it's been a lot of like disappointments, and then every so often there's a game like Expedition 33. That's just like,
Yeah.
this is going to consume my life the next little while.
Or Baldur's Gate.
Yep.
Or like even
I don't know
like,
if any of you guys watched the Game Awards, but the head of Larian had a speech
Yep.
for the Game of the Year award for that. So good.
Yeah, that was great. I love that speech.
Nice.
I just
Yeah.
love Larian. Like, they're so good for that kind of thing. But anyways, we
Yeah.
are pushing our time limits here, so
True, Mr. Pundit. Satisfactory is amazing.
never played it.
So good.
Any
I
last
still
minute
haven't played it
closing
yet.
thoughts?
I bought it, but
I think I agree with you. Basically, I really hope that studios realize that what these indie studios are doing that's making them so much money is actually just caring about the game they're making. But I don't think it's going to happen. And I think that that's sad because if people had the same creativity that they had in the industry back in like 2005 and earlier, I think that we would have some absolutely amazing games with the resources that they have now.
Mm-hmm. That is one thing I will say is id Software, the new Doom games, all three of those games are wildly different from each other because they just keep trying to innovate and keep doing new things rather than making the same game 3 times. So there is companies that are still doing stuff like that, but it's few and far between.
Yep. And sometimes when they do that, Microsoft shuts them down with their game doesn't do well.
Yep.
It's fair. It's fair.
But yeah, I mean, I would say thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Brendan, for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Heck yeah. I'm glad that last minute worked. I was supposed to ask you a week ago to join us, so this is perfect.
That's the best part. Cam, we're on a new platform. Where are we?
Oh yeah, we're on Spotify. Currently, episode 1, our D&D episode, is on Spotify, just under Nerds and Nitwits. It's a little bit rough. I got to do some editing, but go listen to it. Go give us a follow. I'll post episode 2 tomorrow, probably, because we haven't actually decided. Which you guys should let us know if you're listening to this. Do you want us to just put all the episodes on Spotify, or should we just post them weekly, or should we get caught up and then post weekly? I don't know. I can't decide.
I was about to ask, how are you guys doing that?
Well, and that's
Just-
we have no idea because me and Cam talked with each other today when he stopped, and it's like, do we just post them all and then people can just listen to them all the way through, or do we try and like, if we only post one a week, we're just forever going to be playing catch up.
Yeah, you're always going to be behind.
We're basically
I think
always like 16 weeks behind.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to just drop them all, but you could also do like 2 or 3 a week till you catch up.
That's what we were thinking, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just also, it does take some editing and stuff, which takes time, and it's a lot easier to do one a week instead of trying to like pump out 3 a week.
Yeah, especially when none of us are actually getting paid to do this.
Yeah, weekly from now on works. Matching YouTube. Good point, MPG. Okay, we'll take that into consideration.
Good.
Just skipping the older ones and.
Well, I mean, I think we would just dump them all, and then, or I would dump them as fast as I can, and then once we're caught up, yeah.
We should also put dates on each of the titles, though. People know they're the older episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it says the upload date.
Anyways, thanks for joining us. See you later.
Bye.
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 Feel free to join us next week, where we're going to talk about something. I don't know yet.
Well, yeah, we have something
We wrote it
planned.
down. I think we were talking about like games that we wish had multiplayer or had online co-op, like older games.
Is that next week?
I thought so.
Oh, I didn't.
Next week's
well,
episode 19,
you know what?
so-
You'll find out next week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll
on
see you
Nerds
then.
and Nitwits.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Leedle, 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 leedle.